Hello and welcome back to the RCHS Podcast. I'm Bobby.
I'm Chris.
And so today we are going to be talking about New Year's. It's a new year, it's 2023, and we are going to be talking all about it. So what do you know about New Year, Chris? I mean, New Year's fun.
Yeah,
it's a new start.
New Year is fun, yeah. I've always liked New Year's because, generally speaking, I feel like the first month of that New Year's is just all around like good energy, good vibes. Depending on the person, you may have things going on in your life that may affect that in a negative or positive way. But hopefully for everyone, it's positive.
Yeah, and most people I know, they want to get a new start, as I referenced earlier. They want to, think differently, be nicer, be more fit. Like Lucas would say, get the bulk.
Get the bulk, yeah.
And and lots of different people celebrate New Year's in a lot of ways. It actually started 4,000 years ago. Here, I'm looking at history.com here.
Did it really?
What?
Did it really?
Yeah, right here.
Wow.
4,000 years ago in ancient Babylon. This is history.com. Very good website.
Of course.
It's very interesting how over time it's been celebrated for so long and so important to so many people. So let's just take a look at some more stuff. Like, how do you celebrate New Year's,
How do
Chris?
I celebrate? I like to celebrate my New Year. I like to celebrate off with a cleanse, So I try to eliminate all junk food, right?
Okay.
All junk food, like no cookies, no chips, none of that. I try to eat a little bit healthier for sure. I don't start eating a little bit bad until around Easter.
Mm-hmm.
Desserts start to pick up. Yeah.
So we're starting to hint at the idea that New Year's resolutions, they don't always stick.
Oh, absolutely not.
Definitely not.
What I realize is what I've come to realize and know is that if you really want to keep up with a resolution that you have, it requires an incredible amount of discipline and willpower.
Yeah.
And if it's something that you absolutely want, you'll get it done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is true. Determination is a very powerful thing.
Yeah.
What have you done like on New Year's Day? We'll get back to the New Year's resolutions soon, but how have you celebrated New Year's on New Year's Day or New Year's Eve?
Yeah, for sure. Even as a child, I would always stay up with my parents, and that was always just something I did. And not every kid did that. A lot of kids that I knew at school would go to bed at like 9 o'clock, or they would try, end up falling asleep. But I always stayed up to that, the 12
to the midnight.
Yeah.
Instead, since we're in California, we have 3 hours difference from New York time, right?
Yeah.
And they usually have the New York ball drop at like 9 p.m. And so like my parents would like say, "Oh, it's New Year's. We're gonna go to bed at 9 p.m."
That's dope.
And
yeah.
it's just funny because we never really actually stayed up till midnight very often, and more it was just like cut off.
Right. Yeah.
But in the new year, getting back to New Year's resolutions, I would definitely agree with you that New Year's resolutions don't stick. They are kind of an interesting idea because in school they always teach us SMART goals. You know those? Like SMART goals, I don't even remember the acronym completely, but the basic idea of them is they have to be within a time attainable, they have to have good detail.
Right. Yeah.
What do you think more about New Year's resolutions?
I think New Year's resolutions are a beautiful thing, and I think if you have the willpower to succeed in those, amazing for you. And I think if you don't, just keep trying. Like even if you fail at your resolution, that doesn't mean it has to be the end.
Mm-hmm.
Just restart tomorrow.
Yeah. So, my English teacher also started this thing called she didn't start it obviously, but she introduced to the class this thing called a one word. It's where the New Year's has you have one word for the year that you want to focus on. I feel like that's a little easier than coming up with an entire resolution. Is focus on an attitude.
Right.
You know, like an attitude that's different. Like my word for the year was zeal, right? And it was like being enthusiastic for things that I may be bored about.
Right. Yeah. My one word. Probably focused. Probably focused.
Oh, that's a lot of people's word that I've heard.
Yeah.
And yeah.
That or strength.
Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah, strength is very important.
Yeah. I love working out. You know, I love going to the gym, and I think that the gym is a beautiful place because, and I didn't always think this way, but what I've come to realize is that a strong body is a strong mind, right? And so I believe that when you go to the gym and you work out, you will have a healthier mind and a stronger mind. And ultimately, I think it's probably one of the best things that you do for yourself as an individual.
Yeah. Keeping healthy. It's like, I think the other day I heard a quote like about how we should like treat our bodies like we would treat a home that we're going to be living in for the next rest of our life.
Absolutely.
If we throw trash all over the floor in our new house, what's going to happen to that house? We're going to be barely able to live in there.
Right, yeah.
So it is important to like stay fit and stay healthy with what you eat. But it's so often so hard because sugar is so good.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Sugar is so good, yeah.
In my life, I have diabetes.
Right.
So type 1 diabetes, which is genetic. It's not like I ate too much sugar.
Right.
But I've had to limit myself to certain amounts of food and stuff because of my blood glucose levels.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
What would you say is your resolution? Or what do you plan on doing this year?
Well, this year I plan on, as I said, my one word was zeal, right?
Yeah.
I plan on not getting as distracted from my homework,
Of course.
which I don't too often, but I would love to be able to just get it done right away. Because I do procrastinate just like every other student out there, I'm sure. And I procrastinate too. And going into a new semester, I want to be able to focus on my work even more. And although I do have really good grades, I would like it if I'm a little less stressed and doing it a little sooner. Because doing things sooner usually alleviates the stress from me. Yeah, for sure. And so, like, sort of reflecting on the semester, what do you think of the school, like, how the school has been over this past semester?
I think that the school has had a much better year than last year. I feel like last year the school was in a much darker place. There was just a lot more negative energy and activity here. And I feel like this year they really stepped it up on the administration end. And I feel like the school is definitely a much safer and happy place. Yeah,
last year was the year right after COVID.
No, yeah.
And so, like, this past semester you feel like has been better.
Absolutely, you know. I think they definitely took what they lost from COVID, and what they lost from COVID was their ability to manage kids. Mm-hmm. And they definitely learned from this, as they saw last year, and they definitely stepped it up, just made the school generally better.
Yeah. Rancho has been great all the way around, at least in my experience. And so that sort of comes all the way back to the new year. It's taking what we've done in the past and changing so that we can be better in the future. And it's really important to know the strategies of looking back. So it's really important to have these strategies to keep organized. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. I think that when it comes to organization, I think everybody has their own plan and their own way, and I think whatever works for you is going to be the best way to organize. And obviously, there's a lot of people that can do the same things and that works for them, and then there's people that need like their own specific way. You know, the people that can just put everything in a binder in their backpack and just leave it there, and then when they need it, they go to it. And there are people that need a designated desk where they have all their work, and that's okay. And I think if you really want to be organized, it's whatever works best for you. It's not something I could just say, oh yeah, go to this, this, and this. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
Right?
New Year's can also be an output to understanding what works for you best.
Right.
Some of the things that people like to consider with New Year's, especially as high school unit. I was about to say high school units.
Yeah.
Not students. I meant to say students. As high school students, I've heard a lot of talk about graduating early.
Graduate early.
So getting your classes done in the most like maximum capacity possible, including taking summer school, stuff like that, so that they can graduate before senior year.
No, yeah.
What do you think about that?
I think there's a lot of different ways that you can do that. You could take extra classes. You know, you could take a 0 period, some period. You could do pretty much whatever you wanted. But I personally think the best way to do it is to just go through your classes, your first and second years at high school, and then come your third year when you turn 16, you take a test. And this test basically it's asking you if you're ready to graduate early.
Yeah.
And you could graduate early with the test, junior year, I believe. And what I've seen a lot of people do is they either go to special schools like mechanic schools and trade schools like that, or they will go to we have Chafee College, right?
Yeah.
Very close to us, and they'll go get their associate's degree, and they'll literally be at a university by the time they're like 17.
Yeah, which is
crazy. Yeah.
Which is really cool. It also depends on the person, though, right?
Absolutely,
'Cause,
absolutely.
Like, for example, you said like it's mostly like a lot of trade schools that they go to, like engineering and stuff, like specified, maybe like electrical or going to Chafee, you know. So it may not be for everyone, because say you want to go to like a big top-notch college or something like Stanford or whatever, it's not usually best for them to graduate early, because usually colleges like that like to look at a lot of classes. But it really depends on the person. If it's going to be best for your mental health that you graduate early, or best for your career path that you graduate early, then you should definitely do that. You can definitely do that. There's a lot of ways to do it too. And there's a lot of research. A website I would definitely recommend is the UC requirements. Just look up UC requirements if you're in California. University of California admissions, what they look for is these things called A through G requirements.
Right,
Okay?
yeah.
If you want to get in to their colleges, or even just graduating early, but also just graduating on time, this is a really good resource to know where you stand and how much of the subjects that you've like learned have come into play.
I believe you need 4 years of English, 2 years of fine arts language, a year of some kind of like fine art, like like dance or drama or choir. You need 3 years of math, but 4 is recommended. 3 years of science, but 4 is also recommended. And then you need 2 years of PE, or if you're in athletics, that covers it as well.
Yeah. It's interesting to me. All of the required ones, the highest one, it's English.
Of course, yeah.
Of course. Because English is very, very important to our society, right? And many people neglect English because it has, because they're like, oh, I want to do math. What does English have to do with math?
Well, I think it's more than that. I feel like they see English to be tedious. I know I've seen it that way in the past, and I know that I felt a certain way about English in the past too. But what I've come to learn is that it is my best subject, and I know that when I step into an English classroom, everything will come easy to me. I think not only because I understand it more than I do math or science or whatever other class, but also it just generally is just a good subject and it's easy to understand for not for all people,
Yeah.
not for everyone, but I know for me specifically, it's easy for me to understand. Right now in English we're doing a poetry unit, and everything is coming easy to me, right? Especially poetry. I love to just decipher songs, poetry for sure also, but I think English is a beautiful thing, and I feel like our world started with language. I feel like for us that is English, so why not have 4 years of it?
Yeah, and it really is important to society like that. So, all this talking about New Year's and New Year's resolutions, all this stuff, me and Chris here have been talking about it, but we want to hear you, the listeners, and what you guys think. So we're going to transition right now into a segment where we're going to be asking you, the people not in this room right now, all about your New Year's resolutions, or if you think they're not a good idea or whatever you think about them, you guys get to put your voice out here. So we're going to go over there right now, and yeah.
Hello, what's your name?
Hi, I'm Miss Jane Dewin.
All right, so what's your New Year's resolution?
One of mine is to be more consistent with self-care routines and working out, eating healthy, drinking water.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you think New Year's resolutions are important for everyone to do?
I feel like for people who need to feel like another chance at doing things, it's cool, but I feel like you can start a new habit at any point in the year. It doesn't have to be the new year. So
Yeah.
I think that people can just make a change whenever they want, and some people use that as an excuse, but in reality, you can start whenever.
Yeah. And statistically, people are more likely to break their New Year's resolutions, right, as the year goes on. And have you broken yours?
No, but I think people break them because they don't have a specific action plan. So, and they start with goals that are unattainable. They want to go from 0 to 100. So I think that if they started with a specific plan, let's say if it was eating healthier, then I'm gonna eat 2 out of 3 of my meals are gonna be healthy for 4 days a week. Stuff like that.
So little by little.
Yeah, little by little and more specific. Don't just say oh, I'm gonna lose weight. You have to have an action plan. Yeah.
And a big part of this also is your motivation to actually achieve your goals, right?
Yeah.
So how do you in your life, how do you motivate yourself to just carry on or maybe do different goals?
I would say journaling and having I have a dream planner, so where I write my goals and aspirations and kind of write it in the present tense, so I write it as if I'm already doing it, and then I think journaling and writing it down and constantly thinking about it and manifesting it, I guess.
Okay, that's all the questions. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
What's your name?
Elizabeth Santoyo.
Okay. And what's your New Year's resolution for this year?
It's to find peace, inner peace.
Okay. And statistically, people have broken their New Year's resolution in the first week. So have you broken yours?
Mine is more of a progress-based resolution. So sometimes I'm working towards it, and sometimes I'm a little stagnant in it.
Okay. And do you think, how could people work towards their New Year's resolution to maybe improve on it, or maybe stick on it?
Okay, I see. Just try and take action in a way that like will put you in a state of mind that can help you go towards your goal. So for personally, if I want to get into a certain state of mind, I'll journal.
And yes, very good. And when you want to do something, you usually need to have motivation, right? So what do you think you do to have motivation?
Sometimes it's just taking a break or like talking to like people who support you.
Hello, what's your name?
Rosie.
Okay, so do you have a New Year's resolution?
Yeah, it was to stay calm more because I panic a lot.
And do you think New Year's resolutions are important for everyone to do, or do you think that you could just not do it and be fine?
I think New Year's resolutions are important to follow because you kind of set yourself a goal, and it's important to try to, keep your goals and
Yeah.
stuff.
And statistically, people are more likely to break their New Year's resolutions as the year goes on, right?
Yeah, well, nobody's perfect.
Oh, yeah. And have you broken yours?
Yes.
And not knowing that, do you have anything in mind that you could maybe do next time to maybe not break your resolution?
Maybe not just try to just jump from one day to another, like maybe transition better into a New Year's resolution.
So, and a big part in New Year's resolutions or setting goals itself is having the motivation, right? What do you do in your daily life to maybe motivate yourself to keep going, stuff like that?
For me, a big motivation is probably sleeping because when I don't sleep, I feel more stressed out.
Agreed.
And then when I do, I feel like more likely to do things that I should.
And we're back. We are back. So those were some great ideas about New Year's and New Year's resolutions. So now, what's some ideas to look forward to in this new year for you, at least, Chris, right now?
Ideas to look forward to.
Or just things you're looking
Just-
forward to in the new year?
The idea of expanding my knowledge, just the idea of becoming stronger, becoming smarter, becoming faster, just bettering myself as a whole. And whether or not it's consistent, if I do it for a month straight or 2 months straight, then I stop, I know for me, as long as I get back up, I will be able to complete my goal, right? Because as I said before, it takes an immense amount of discipline and willpower. And if you can't display those traits, that's okay. Just get back up and keep going.
Yeah, always get back up again. That's all comes back to, I know I've been saying this, all comes back to New Year, because it's a new start. You get back up again. If last year was a failure year for any of you, then it's important that you can take steps in your life to, in this new year, you can have a new start. You can get back up from those hardships.
For sure. When I think of the new year, I don't think of it as a new year. Like, yes, it is a new year, but I think of new year as a mindset.
Yeah.
It's a mindset that whether it's 6 months from New Year's Day or 8, you should always be keeping this mindset.
Exactly.
It doesn't have to be New Year, new day.
Yeah.
Or if you had a bad morning,
A new afternoon.
a new afternoon. Yeah.
New hour.
It doesn't.
Every piece of time, you have the opportunity to change, and that's what makes us as humans so unique. Us as students, so awesome, because we get to learn and change through this period of time where there's a lot of change going on,
Yeah, for sure.
and it's really important.
I think change can also be a negative thing because
Yeah.
a lot of people say, well, Chris, I can't do this because this happened or this is going on in my life right now. And to that, I just say you have to adapt. You have to adapt. If you want to go to the gym and you want to start your fitness journey right now, and you want to do bench press, squats, whatever, it doesn't matter, right? If you want to get faster, it doesn't matter. And you're going, oh well, I have school and I have this, I have that. You have to adapt. Change your schedule then.
Yeah.
And maybe all those things are set in place. Maybe change the schedule that you go to the gym then. You know, go at a different hour or a different time of day. Wake up at 4 a.m. if you have to. Get dressed, take a shower, go to the gym.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this was really awesome, Chris. I'm really grateful for this episode that we got to talk all about the new year. If you listeners want to be interviewed on different segments like we had, then go check out our link tree on the Instagram.
And go follow us on Instagram at the RCHS Podcast, #1 podcast in the world.
Yep. And if you guys are a member at Rancho and want to join Podcast Club, feel free to contact us. And our remind is at RPC2223. That is at RPC2223. If you guys want to join a remind, that will be wonderful. We would love to have you in B103 on Mondays from 3:30 to 4:30. That's when we do all our planning for the podcast. And yes, we would love to have you. So thank you guys for listening, and we'll catch you guys next time.
Deuces.